So if the momentum is increased by 0.1%, what is the percentage of change in kinetic energy? What is the percentage of change in kinetic energy? This is a question. Percentage of change in kinetic energy means change in kinetic energy by original kinetic energy into 100. This is it. And if you want to find out final kinetic energy minus change in kinetic energy to the original kinetic energy, you have to write final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy by initial kinetic energy into 100. This is how one should do it. But here, when momentum is increased, then what happens to the kinetic energy is a question. So you have to know the relation between kinetic energy and momentum with a constant. We know that kinetic energy is half mv square. When you multiply and divide by m, kinetic energy is m square v square divided by 2m, or we know that it is p square by 2m. Just follow the steps which I do, we will easily end up having this. So final kinetic energy is final momentum square by 2m, and initial kinetic energy is initial momentum square by 2m. What is k final by k initial? So 2m will be cancelled, which means that k final minus k initial equal to p final by p initial. P final square by p initial square, that can be written as p final by p initial whole square. But the momentum is increased by 0.1%. 0.1% means final momentum is initial momentum plus 0.1% of initial momentum. Okay, so it is p initial plus 0.1% means 0.1 divided by 100 times pi. So that means p initial plus 0.001 p initial. That means 1.001 p initial. This is what the final momentum. So k final by k initial is final momentum, which is 1.001 pi divided by pi the whole square. When you cancel this out, 1.001 the whole square. What is the value of 1.001 the whole square? 1.001 is actually 1.00201 is what? K final minus k initial. Then if you want to find this k final minus k initial by k initial, you just have to subtract 1 from both sides. When you subtract 1 from both sides, when you take LCM, k final minus k initial by k initial is 0.002001. We can simply drop this much. What is this value? K final minus k initial. This is change in kinetic energy. What is k initial? Original kinetic energy. That is equal to how much? 0.002. So percentage of change in kinetic energy is change in kinetic energy by original kinetic energy into 100. So you have to multiply this with 100. You get 0.2 percentage. Once you multiply with 100, you have to express that in percentage. So this is 0.2 percentage. Whenever you come across this kind of problems, just always write final value to the original value, and finally you subtract 1 and multiply by 100, so that you will be able to find easily this kind of percentage of change in any values.